about the other star looking for a big payday. Unlike Zeke, Dak Prescott reported to camp despite entering the final year of his rookie deal. One NFL coach told The Athletic that he feels bad for the Cowboys because, quote, if they pay him $30 million a year or whatever, the expectation becomes so high, and I don't think it makes you a better player. Another exec compared it to the Redskins situation with Kirk Cousins when they ultimately let him walk away. So, Shannon, here is the million-dollar question. What is Dak worth?
What I've been telling Skip all along, he was going to get $30 million plus. He was never going to accept anything less than that because the going rate is for a quarterback, it seems to be $30 million plus. Skip liked to heap all these accolades. He won Rookie of the Year. He had the highest completion percentage in his first 3 years. He beat Walker to him twice. He beat Russell Wilson. He's won the division twice. I just want you to know, and Jerry Jones to understand all those accolades, cha-ching, 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 because he saw what Walker to him got. Carson Wentz got X. He's like, I beat him twice, and I done won the division twice, and I won a playoff game. That's the going rate. You got to pay for that, Skip Bayless. I know you, and I told you that. Even though Stephen Jones is trying to poison the field by telling, well, if Dak don't give us a hometown discount, he don't care about winning. Poppycock. You know that's not true, Skip Bayless. The Cowboys are in a situation they really don't have a choice. This is not a dilemma, two equally perplexing situations, Jenny. You rather get hit by a Mack truck or a dump truck. It doesn't matter. You're equally as done if they're traveling at 50 miles an hour.
Stark comparison.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do, Skip? Like, Skip, I love this what Skip will say. When I say Skip, they can't play Blake Bortles. Well, what do you want them to do, Shannon? Skip, what do you want them to do? They got to pay you. It's going to cost you $100 million. The expectations are already there. They're the Dallas Cowboys. You said, and everybody says, this is a Super Bowl caliber team with the talent that they have. They've done a great job. So now you have to pay him. The biggest misconception that people have is that the more money you make, the better you are. And that's not true. Just because you pay Dak top 5 money doesn't make him a top 5 quarterback. It just means that, hey, he came up and this is the going rate. Do I look at him as a Brady, Rodgers, Drew Brees, Big Ben, my homeboy? Absolutely not. But that doesn't matter. His contract happens to be up. He plays the most valuable position, and that's what he's going to get. He's going to put you in a bind, and I love it.
Yep. So, Jerry Jones has the greatest set of problems in the entire NFL. How to pay all of his rising stars.
Can't do it.
Who wouldn't want this problem? Everybody wants the problem that Jerry has.
Until they're
but
faced
you
with
describe it as, do you want to get hit by a Mack truck or a dump truck, Jerry?
Yep.
Like he's going to get crushed one way or the other.
Damned if you do,
really?
damned if you don't.
Okay. So, I'm going to go to the bottom of this Mike Sando, The Athletic article, to a passage about your quarterback in Minnesota now named Kirk Cousins. The guy you raved about him.
First Cousins?
First Cousins. We went for 2 years on this show with you saying First Cousins, and I'm saying I don't want to be related to that guy. How many times did I tell you Kirk Cousins is overrated? I told you again and again and again and again, and I was proven right. So, Mike Sando writes, the Washington Redskins faced a somewhat similar quarterback dilemma in recent years.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with this dilemma, but here's the quote from an executive, anonymous quote. People crushed the Redskins for the way they handled Kirk Cousins, and now people think Kirk Cousins is no good and you should never pay him. Who told you that first? Who had the guts to go to the end of the limb and say, overrated, and the day he signed with your team,
I remember.
The most overpaid quarterback in the history of football, I called Kirk Cousins, and I was proven right so far. Do not compare that situation with my quarterback situation because I told you Kirk Cousins against my team went 1-6 against his arch rival. The one game he won was against my new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and a really bad Cowboy team. That's the only one out of 1-6. Dak Prescott beat Kirk Cousins all 4 times, 4-0. Kirk Cousins wound up in Washington 26-30-1. He was 4 games under 500. The Redskins was, we won't commit. And finally, your team committed for $28 guaranteed million a year.
84 million.
Right?
Fully
84
guaranteed.
million fully guaranteed. My quarterback is now 32 and 16. Is that good? That's pretty good. That's twice 500, right?
Okay, yep.
So Kirk went 26, 30, and 1, and my quarterback is 32 and 16 in his first 3 years. Okay, I'm here to tell you I will disqualify myself because I believe I have now done my quarterback more harm than good. Because you know what happens on this show? Every time I dig in on a player, much of the sports world will dig in against me and root against the player that I believe in and defend, or overly defend on this show because I have to fight you, right?
Yep.
Because you are so wrong-headed about my quarterback. So I will be the first to tell you that I've probably done a disservice to Dak Prescott, because the more I rave about him and defend him, the harder it probably is for him out in the sports media.
Well, all you doing is driving up the price. But let me ask you this.
I'm not even close to being finished yet. So what did I tell you from day one on this show? And I'm talking about September 6th of 2016 when we launched here on Fox Sports 1. What did I tell you the first day?
He gonna be all right.
I said, Shannon, I'm watching a 4th-round rookie quarterback for my Cowboys in the preseason, and I told you, quote, unquote, I have never seen a rookie quarterback exhibit more poise than Dak Prescott did through his playoff games at the Rams at Seattle. Do you remember when I said that?
He did.
And did he not ever back me up?
He did.
He should have won the season QBR as a rookie. He had what I called, and you can try to argue with this, but I don't think you can. No. He had the greatest rookie quarterback season ever played, beyond RG3's that year with Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan in Washington. It was a little beyond that. RG3 was really good. Dak won the division, and he capped it off by throwing for 300-plus and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception against Aaron Rodgers, and he had beaten Aaron, obviously, at Lambeau, and he barely lost that game thanks to Mason Crossbar. But again, he played very well in that playoff game.
Okay.
He played great in that, especially for a rookie starter. And then, do I have to remind you of what continued to happen? But everybody hangs on. See, again, to me, this amazes and it angers me like no other topic we do on this show, because Dak gets no credit from you whatsoever.
I give him credit.
You give him a little bit. Yeah. He has become the most underrated, underappreciated quarterback in the league, and it's not even close. And everybody fixated on what happened for those 6 no Zeke games in 2017.
Okay.
What happened?
What happened?
Game number 1 with no Zeke was at Atlanta, and there was no Ty Smith at left tackle. And help me out, what happened to my quarterback? The blind side sacks he suffered, 8 of them. 8 times he went down in that game.
Get rid of the ball quicker.
Okay, yeah, get rid of the back. Okay, great. And it was hellacious hard on him. And guess what? His defense over those 6 games gave up the 23rd worst yards in the league.
But you never used that argument for Aaron Rodgers. What is defense?
Okay, I don't care. We're talking about a young quarterback in his 2nd year. That was his sophomore campaign. And what was going on with Des Bryant at that point, according to the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp, Des Bryant was a broken down shell of himself who had absolutely no rapport with my quarterback. So my quarterback, let's get this straight. He had no blindside protection. He had no number 1 receiver who could even beat single coverage. Am I right? That's what you told me, right?
Des was struggling.
Couldn't beat single coverage, and his defense couldn't stop anybody. So did they struggle for 6 games? You better believe they struggled. Did my quarterback bounce back last year and win the division yet again? Did he beat Carson Wentz twice? Did he throw for 331 yards just in the 2 fourth quarters and overtime against the Eagles? Yeah, 24 of 28, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had another hellacious great year, but nobody gives him any credit. How can you pay this man? And the conclusion from one of the salary cap experts here in the Athletic article is, if you pay Dak what you're talking about, the $30 million, he'll never be able to live up to it because it'll be too much pressure on him. Baloney! Watch him live up to it. It's hard to play that position in Dallas, Texas. Yeah. It might be the hardest position to play in the NFL, is the scrutiny the Cowboy quarterback gets because of what happened with Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman, and even to a certain degree, Tony Romo.
Sure.
He has lived up. He will continue to live up to it. You pay the man his money, as you say in Rounders, and you go forward, because do you question his leadership?
No.
I give him an A+ in leadership. No. He is the face of that franchise. Do you question his durability? I give him an A+. How can you give him an A+? He hasn't missed a single game.
Right.
All he did was, as you say, no quarterback has ever completed a higher percentage of passes in his first 3 years than this guy.
Right.
Nobody has more game-winning drives over the last 3 years than this guy. Yet he gets